Hello, welcome back to George96. Today I'm back. I haven't posted in a while. Today we're doing the most overrated players at each Premier League club. We're going to go alphabetical order, starting with Arsenal. Now, Arsenal for me, this one is obvious. It's Nick William. Came for 22 million, I think. No, for a free. I do apologise. Anyway, so the most overrated player is Will.i.am. Can't find the back of the net this season. Ooh, sorry about that, lads. Anyway, next team, Aston Villa. For me, this one was a hard one because Villa have actually had very good players. For me, still Wesley. People still rate him. For me, and he's just not a good player. For me. Anyway, moving on to Brighton, and Brighton is a very tough one. I think Brighton, it has to be. I might get roasted in the comments. Jahanbakhsh, not a good winger, and therefore the most overrated Premier League player of Brighton. Moving on to bloody Burnley, as Mark Goldbridge would say, and this one I've gone for Chris Wood. Just like, why? Just can't find the back of the net. He's a really good player used to be good for Leeds, and yeah. Moving on to Chelsea, and for me, Chelsea, it has to be Kepa. 72 million for what? But the most mistakable, for Mr. Mistakable Kepa. Not a good goalkeeper. Not a good goalkeeper at all, man. Most overrated. Moving on now to Crystal Palace, and I've gone for a £40 million player called Christian Benteke. And I feel really sorry for the lad, and for me, he is overrated. For me, Crystal Palace, I feel sorry for you at times. Anyway, moving on now to Everton. Everton, I've gone for a man that used to play for York City, cost 90 million, not getting game time. It is Ben Godfrey. Now he is rated by Everton fans, for me, and he used to play for York City. And if you guys didn't know, I live in York, and I've watched Ben Godfrey for 4 years ago, back in the day when he was young, and he's a good player at York, but not good for Everton for me. Fulham, this has got to be easy. Brian, the left back, here at Wembley, not here in the Premier League. For me, this is the most overrated player. It for Fulham. Leeds United. Now this might shock you. I'm going to go for Tyler Roberts. Now he is rated by Leeds fans. He's Welsh. He's still young. He's got a lot to prove still, but I don't think he's Premier League standard for me. Leicester City, and this one I've gone for Ismail Samani. And he's a decent player on his day, but not good for Leicester. He says it's probably time for him to go. Yeah. Moving on now to Liverpool. And Liverpool, this one is for me obvious. And he was rated since he came for Liverpool, and still is to this day. Adrian is a goalkeeper. Is a goalkeeper who's made mistakes in the Champions League against Atletico. For me, Premier League standing, and I think Jurgen Klopp needs a backup goalkeeper for me. Right, moving on to Manchester City. Manchester City have a dozen of overrated players, and this one for me very obvious. Sergio Aguero. So this is based on this season, you know. Sergio Aguero. God knows what shorts he's wearing, but he's worn very he looks very fat, let's just say, but he can't stop. He's scoring. He can't find the back of the net, and therefore he's the most overrated player for Manchester City. Moving on to the red side of Manchester, my team, Manchester United. Get in. This one was very actually hard. I think it's gonna have to be Tony Martial. Tony, yeah, he was a hero on Ultimate Team for me, but not a hero in real life. Can't find the back of the net. I feel sorry for him because he's a great player, but not this season. Moving on to Newcastle and Newcastle United. It's got to have to be Joe Linton. Joe Linton I feel sorry for him, and people rate him even though he can't score. But I could have picked anyone at Newcastle, Andy Carroll, maybe John Joe Shelby, maybe Doug Radka, but they're all overrated. Moving on to Sheffield United, and I think this one is easy for me, and this one got to be, drumroll please, Aaron Ramsdale. I picked a goalkeeper for Sheffield. You're surprised how he's like last season he made mistakes and he's doing it this season, and he's not a good goalkeeper. He never was, and I still think he's. I don't know. Moving on now to Southampton, and I kind of don't want to say this, but I feel like I have to. Fraser Forster. Now I've picked 3 goalkeepers in this, and you might be surprised. Why have you gone for Fraser Forster? I just think he's still there up to this day. He's the backup, but I don't think he'll ever get a game again for Southampton in the Premier League. He gets games in the cup, but not for Southampton. Tottenham Hotspur, most overrated player. This might shock you. I don't like saying this, but I think it has to be done. Dele Alli. Now he's not enjoying Spurs at the moment, and I don't think he's leaving this season, and I think he will leave this summer maybe. I feel very sorry for him, for what's happened for Spurs, and I hope he has a good career wherever he goes next season or the season after. You don't know. Moving on to West Bromwich Albion, and this one was a very tough one. And I've gone for Rob Sukarno. The man that scored that Cruyff turn goal against Belgium in 2016. And I just think he's a good. He used to be good, but he isn't. But for me, it is Rob Sukarno. Moving on now to West Ham United, and this one has to be the most obvious one of the video. Pablo Fornals, and I say this because he can't find the back of the net for me, and he used to be good for Lazio, but he isn't. Moving on now to Wolves, and I think Wolves is a very obvious one. And for me, it's Fabian Silva, 38 million for what? He hasn't scored. He has scored, but not this season. You came for 38 million, man, and that is shocking, basically. Right, guys. The video is done here. Thank you so much. We're on the road to 30 subscribers, and let's get it this week, maybe next week. You don't know. Right. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe and comment below if I should do the best player at each Premier League club. Thank you, and see you next time.